Welcome back to our series where we're talking about how Will Wade made it to Raleigh to become NC State's next men's head basketball coach. Now, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest topics of them all, radioactivity. Now, let's travel back in time. The year was 2017. NC State was moving on from the Mark Gottfried era for reasons that we don't really need to get into. So now Will Wade was the coach at VCU at the time. He ended up choosing to coach at LSU instead, but we now know that that was really for the best, even though NC State fans didn't like it at the time. Wade ended up becoming embroiled in the FBI probe that affected other coaches from around the country. Guys like Sean Miller at Arizona, Bill Self at Kansas, and unfortunately also NC State's own Mark Gottfried. So it ended up being for the best that Will Wade didn't come at that time because NC State needed to have its image cleaned. Kevin Keatts was the best candidate for this. To say nothing of the results that he had on the court, he ran a spotless organization during his time in Raleigh. Unfortunately, during Keatts' tenure, the school was hit with a show cause penalty, and so was Wade. It would have been terrible if the school was hit with a penalty for the actions of the previous head coach and the current head coach was given a penalty for his actions at his last job. The two would have combined to be a nightmare for NC State. Now, Will Wade was let go from LSU in March of 2022. He took a one-year hiatus before being hired at McNeese State in March of 2023. In June of 2023, he was given a 10-game suspension and a 2-year show cause penalty, preventing him from in-home recruiting visits. Will Wade was penalized for impermissible payments, a penalty that is now legal in the world of NIL and revenue sharing. He was also accused of failing to comply with the FBI's investigation. These penalties have given him the air of being radioactive. Other teams have not really wanted to touch him for fear that they might get tainted by this. This has worked out in favor of NC State since the Wolfpack were one, if maybe the only, school that was heavily pursuing him during this coaching cycle in 2025. What other schools were in play this cycle? Well, follow along for part 3. What did you think about the hiring of Will Wade and the penalties that he faced? Let us know in the comments.